It's 9 o'clock in the morning on June 1st, and I already want to drink. Hello, everybody. This is Kurt H. I am the Lazy Farmer, and yeah, it has been that kind of morning. Normally, I try to get started about 6 o'clock Pacific because I want to get, I know people are getting up and getting going Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, over there on the East Coast. So I try to get them so they can watch it live before their day gets going, and then that way the stream is ready for everybody over here on the West Coast by the time they get going at around 9 o'clock. That's my goal, that's my thoughts, and I've been up since 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's been a chore. So and it started last night actually. I started installing basically, yeah, kind of reinstalling. I got all my config files and everything, but I started reinstalling the Selkirk and Mohawk to get the server going. I'm trying to get everything ready so that when the new computer shows up on the 9th, new to me, that I can just, go ahead and get things launched and get it going. And oh my gosh. First of all, they would not reinstall. So I thought I had saved it. I said, well, I'll just I'll go ahead and copy my config file over. What's up, Rusty? How you doing? Hey, man, I like your videos, man. Awesome. Um, but anyway, yeah. So they wouldn't install, and yeah, I did. If you guys are already asking, I already did. I mean, I would install them, and then I would run the reinstall because I think they're version 2 to bring them over to version 3. All that kind of all that good stuff. Do the updater. No, they were in the directory, but they were not on the list of regions that I could select. So that became a frustration level. So then I found, well, then I went to go get my old configuration files, and I figured I got that somewhere. I'll just copy it over from my external hard drive. What's up, Mike? How you doing, man? Anyway, yeah, no, so I did. I copied it over, and then I decided I was going to work on the new, because if you guys haven't heard, there is a Northern California server. It's up, it's running, it's under configuration right now, so we're not ready to go live with it to allow people to come on. But anyway, so I got that. I got Selkirk Mohawk. I can get them up, coming up great. Okay, good. Get up this morning. I'm going to work on NorCal, and I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to be configuring the industries and kind of explaining that. And every time I launched NorCal, I would stay up. As soon as I activated auto, it would crash. So that's been a fight. And here it is 3 hours later, and I'm going to jinx myself, but NorCal, which is behind me here, as you can see on, if I go to live screen here, uh, this is where am I? Oh, I think this is Roseville Yard, and of course I got the industry configuration panel up, but it's been up. I'm going to jinx myself. It's been up for a good solid 30 minutes. So, and then I tried. Oh my God! Then there was, thanks to my buddy Kung Fu Beer, there's an external editor that will rewrite the configuration file for the industries. So, okay, great. So I get that, grab it, um, install it. That's another issue. Don't get me started there either. And so get it going, great. I'm updating the industries, and then all of a sudden I get an error code on that, and it won't clear. I mean, I can't get rid of the error code, so I had to use the task manager to get rid of that thing. And so I just said, screw it. And I'm over here looking at my Miller Genuine Drafts going, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I really want one of you right now because I want to drain the bottle and then beat up my computer with it. That's where I'm at this morning. So anyway, let's muddle on. And then I got some new content. I'm gonna, after I get done with this stream today, and I don't know if I'm gonna make the full 2 hours. We'll see how things play out. But if I can get the full 2 hours in, great. Then I'm going to record for Tuesday and Thursday some new content. So keep your eye out for that. That's my teaser. And if you ask me today, what's the new content, farmer? You know what? You're just gonna have to hit your notifications button, give me a like, subscribe, all that good stuff that I pretty much ask. Well, I think everybody asks, not just me. Everybody asks that. Thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Find out what that new content is. And it is simulator based. I'll give you that one little. It's not railroad based, but it is simulator based. So we'll let it go at that. Anyway, so I have up. Let me make an adjustment here so I can fit everything where I need to fit it. So I'm going to drag this over. So this is what I just pulled over. You're looking at now is the new configuration file for NorCal and the industries, and I'm doing this in not open, well, it says Open Office, but it's actually LibreOffice, which is built off Open Office. It has a little bit better look to it. That's my personal preference. And here's the best thing for you guys: if you're not using it, it's free. Open Office is free. LibreOffice is free. And it doesn't have all that bloated stuff that sits in the background that we never see that Microsoft says we have to have. Don't get me started with that. So anyway, so these are all the industries over here, and then of course we got their industry tags, the locals, the type of cars, the time it takes for the cars to turn, what the capacity is on their tracks, what they produce, your loads or empties, and then it's this outgoing tags that I'm changing. And the whole idea behind this is to create a very self-contained subdivision for the virtual model railroad that I keep doing. I'm sitting. You guys can't see me because I don't have a camera on me, and I do that for a reason. I mean, I've got a voice for radio and I got a face to match. But I'm doing air quotes, and it is. So the idea behind this is one. Uh, I want cars to go from one industry to another. If they're going to go off map, they're only going to go in one of three directions. That's going to be west, east, or north. So it's pretty basic. And the idea also too is we're going to put the configuration files out for those individuals that don't want to play multiplayer for various reasons, but give them something that where one, they have cars going back and forth, so now we got to have a build a train and go up and over the mountain, and they can do road trains, they can switch industries, all that kind of good stuff. But we have, and I'm trying to gauge it. Hopefully, I got about 80% of the cars are going to stay on the map, 20% are going to leave. Maybe a little bit more because there are some industries that you need to call for cars. So there's still going to be a need for calling for supply trains, whether that's coming from the north to south, north, west, or east. You're still going to have supply trains. So there's still going to be a need for working the hump yard and everything like that. And this is all under construction. So, and basically by getting rid of most of the destinations that are going to be going off map, that opens up a lot of the tracks in the hump yard for even more sorting. So not just sorting out whether it's going to be the Sparks yard or the Roseville yard, but even sorting out as far as which locals they go to. And so, I'll explain the tags as we go along here in just a moment. Well, I might as well jump in. So West Colton, WC, we'll look at the top one right here, where you see my cursor. WC is West Colton. HK is actually Hinkle, Oregon. And then OG is Ogden, Utah. So from the Davis yard here in Roseville, those are probably the three closest hump yards there might be something closer, but based upon the information that I did research on, those are the three closest classification yards, and being basically a yard that has a hump over it. So that the idea is going from classification yard to classification yard. West Colton is going to be west railroad turned west, but in reality it's down in Southern California, so it's going to actually go south from Roseville. Hinkle is actually going to go out the valley sub, which in Roseville there's a Y, and there's a local that goes out that Y, so you'll actually have a road train going out that way or coming in from that direction. And then, of course, Ogden, Utah means that any train that's built here in Roseville will go over the mountain and then through Sparks in order to get out to Ogden, Utah. The tagging is going to be very simple. If you guys could see this on this next one down here for Associated Bag Company, we've got the 3 different, distant locations, and you notice that I got those on all the industries. We're using a tag, and I picked this up from the overpopulated. I call it over. It's actually very populated. I just call it overpopulated because it's fun. It really is. But it's a tagging system that in some other videos that I've watched, I guess has been around since version 2, maybe in version 1. But just very simple. RV Roseville, SP right below it or right next to it here. You'll see RV 60 is the last, as an example right here. LRR 60 is the actual local symbol. So RR is out of Roseville, so hence RV for Roseville 60. It's going to be on the LRR 60. And of course, the destination is going to be AUH, which is right here, Auburn Hardwood. So this car it creates a loaded set of cars, and it goes to Auburn Hardwoods. So for some reason, and I mean, you can use your imagination. It's your virtual model railroad. Use your imagination. Why is the Associated Bag Company building, or creating loaded boxcars of bags going to Auburn Hardwoods? Well, maybe there's, not just the hardwoods. They sell screws, hammers, and things like that. Little hardwood area or hardware area, so they have a need for bags. Might be waste bags, whatever. Use your imagination. So, and then of course we have SP56FTL. That is going to be Frito-Lay. SP56 is Sparks. 56 is the local number, and then of course FTL is the industry. SP45OTL, SP. So SP, basically, you just look right at the car. Where's it going? It's going to either Roseville or it's going to Sparks. When it gets there, what local? The local ends in 60. Right? As far as the industries are concerned, they don't care. All they want to see is that 3-letter tag. And if that 3-letter tag goes in and it's an empty car, that car will turn. But here's the kicker. And I use this on the Mosel side, and it works. The car doesn't have to be loaded or empty. It can come in loaded and then get changed again to a different tag, going out loaded. It works. So it's just looking at, is it a boxcar and is it tagged with the right industry tag? And it's as simple as that. The only other one that I should add, I kind of nailed it down, but I have a lot of cars from different industries that you're going to see SP shop or RV shop. Both locations have car repair shops. So you might get a lot of cars that are coming out going to those 2 locations, and then from the shop, the shop pretty much is going to send them off map somewhere. So now you have a reason to use the shop. So, and that's all it is, and that's really all I'm going to. That's all I'm doing. I'm going to be copying and pasting from here, and this is no reason why I use LibreOffice, because whenever I copy and paste using Excel, I have issues. I don't have issues with LibreOffice. So in this case here, Anschutz marking is the first one we're going to do. It's the first one on the list. And this was, how do I get the list? Basically, you're going to go, let me get rid of this. I'm so afraid. There we go. So left control L, you pull up the industry list, and if we go to industry configuration and highlight all these industries on this entire list, and then hit export industry configuration, you'll find it in your Run8 folder You'll see industry configuration.csv. Just keep it in that format, and then that way you can manipulate it through any spreadsheet software. I think you could probably even do, well, actually, I think you can pull it up in Notepad or Notepad++ if you want to. But yeah, no, that's just it's easy. It's very easy. And we look at this, we don't have a whole lot if you think about it. I mean, we look at everything that's on this page. There's enough industries to keep one individual busy, and I'm speaking from experience. So you can keep yourself very, very interesting. Left control I brings up the industry configuration. I love to be able to pull this down, but it won't let me do it. But anyway, so Anschutz marketing is the first one, and I'm just going to, if I can get, okay, really? It's going to be one of those days. All right, let's see. There we go. So the other thing is I've changed. Let's see. I'm going to highlight this, and then I'm just going to do left control and V. I did a copy and paste, just simple copy and paste. We're done, and after you're done, save. You get the industry configuration to save. I look for that up here. Once I get that in red, I know this part has locked in, and then you just go down. And whatever process you want to use, just left control copy, and then I'm going to go find, highlight this out, and then left control V to pay. I get double clicked here. There we go. There we go. So, and that's it. Now we can talk about some other things too. Boxcars, which boxcars you want to have. You click on filter over here, and they're cute sometimes, but sometimes there's a place that the developers need not be so cute. And yet, I mean, come on, guys, seriously. Uh, yes, no, something like that. I don't know. Sometimes maybe it's just the morning I've had. I'm not in that mood. But you can choose if you choose which box cars you want to see come in. Anything that is set to yes, da, which is Russian for yes. They'll see those cars come in, and if net or no, those you won't get those cars. Um, so you can choose. You can drill it down that I only want to see. Let's see, BNSF, no, maybe all nothing but TTX or WC, whatever, or just Run8 boxcars, whatever you want. You pick and choose. Nail it down to just that car, and that's all you're going to get is just that car. And I bring that up so because of tank cars. And if you look, I mean, obviously it's all no because this industry doesn't take any tank cars. But you might want to look at like the Utilix white, and maybe if you're in this case on this industry, or in this map, there's some industries that deal in propane. Maybe you don't want the black cars coming in for propane. You just want white cars for propane because that way it's propane. And so you can drill down and just say that car. So it all depends. I mean, and I'm leaving the industries alone. I mean, who's to say that if we transport to the Associated Bag Company, does it have to say Associated Bag Company? Or do you want to go in here and change it out, and I can type it out and be, the TheLazyFarmer Bag Company. I have to stop because I'm thinking about my ex. But anyway, so you could change it, name the industry whatever you want. I mean, it could, I'll pick on SP Bob here. I mean, maybe it's SP Bob Bag Company. Whatever your name is. I forgot about this one. I was looking for, by the time I found Run8, I had already been looking and made a decision that I'm going to actually have a model railroad, and I've started research, okay, on where I want to model, what I want to model, and basically I even took and changed the logo that came from, I think it's the Genesee in Wisconsin, I think is what it is, the parent company for that owns a lot of little short lines, out here in California, or all around the country, but out here in California, it's the San Joaquin Valley Railroad that they own. I took their paint scheme and their logo and changed it to California Northern, and about that time I, was going to, that's when I found Run8. So for you, I mean, you're using Run8, but name your virtual model railroad what you want to name it. So, and just change the company names and use your imagination. I mean, just because it looks like a cement plant, does it really produce cement? Or is it making, you know, I don't know, gunpowder or something, and you need boxcars or what, grain elevator, whatever. Use your imagination. Have fun with it. I mean, that's the thing about Run8. It's so configurable. All right, let's continue on here. So let's see, Associated Bad Company. I think I already did that one. Yep. West Colton, Hinkle, Oregon, Ogden, Utah, and then it's Roseville, uh, the RR60 or just 60, and then the car where it's going to go. So and then Otto as he processes the cars because they produce loads, which means that you'll get an empty boxcar in, and then after 24 hours of real time. Okay, that's real time. You'll get a loaded boxcar, and Auto will randomly pick one of these tags. So it's either going to go off map or it's going to go to another industry. So let's move on. So pretty much that I'm not going to be. I have working locals. So I'm going to have to change the title on that one. I thought I did, but I guess it didn't take. Yeah. Anyway, Auburn Hardwoods. I want this one. All right, and highlight that. Control V. All right, and then we're gonna save. So, and you can do a whole bunch. I like to personally save after every single industry, but even if I go to like 2, 3, 4 industries and then save, they're all gonna save. So, and we'll just if we go back and look, it's all the same. So, all right, next one, Auburn Plastics. This one's interesting. Auburn Plastics, pellet cars. There we are. So, are you not changing? There we go. So, plastic pellet cars. This one, well, once again, this is an example. Later on, we might pick an industry somewhere that if they've got the tracks, so they have two different tracks. Maybe I'll have one track come in. It'll have um, plastic. It could be a variety of whatever. It could be piping, or plastic scrap. I mean, we'll use our imagination, but they're getting plastics, and then they're producing plastic pellets, which will then come to Auburn Plastics, which makes plastic pipes, and we'll create a flow. But maybe if we can find a track somewhere that doesn't have an industry on it, we're going to create an industry. So we'll have that, but that's later on down the road. All right, save, and let's go on to the next one. That's all I'm going to be doing. I'll be talking about anything and everything. So chat me up too. I'm watching chat here. Industry config is just as fun as playing the game. And Rusty, you're right. Sometimes it's playing around and letting your imagination go, and solving other issues too. Because what else is configurable? It's the train routing. Train routing is and I did this. with the Mosel server is I do have, I mean, there was no way to route a train into, if you're coming from the Selkirk classification yard and you're going to DeWitt, the train will just go by if you tried to auto it. Well, there is a way to actually configure the train to get onto the right track, but then you just have to make sure that your manual switches are lined up the way you want them to, so that once that train is on that track, it'll then go into the DeWitt yard, and then it's just finding a way to stop the train. And you can do that either, I mean, by either setting a switch against the train, so it'll come to a stop and we'll just sit there and wait, or you can even drop a I'm using air quotes again, spawn point, and the spawn point, you can set that up as a relinquish point. So the train will come up, hit that relinquish point, and that's it. It's not going to go any farther. He'll relinquish it, and that way you can pick it up and move it or whatever you need to do. So that's something that's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, so Rusty, I agree with you, man. Just playing with the industry configuration and coming up and letting your imagination go. I think when it comes down to, what am I working on next? RV resorts. Yeah. When it comes down to gaming and simulators, we're kind of expecting to follow a developer's idea of how things should go, but with Run8, you can just follow what the developers have set up or do your own thing. You have freedom. This is what makes Run8 so much better than any other train simulator out there. And I've made this statement that not one when I was looking for train simulators, every single one of them was driving a road train. It's going from point A to point B in a certain amount of time, and then when you get there, you're done. Hey, what's up, Captain Ron? How you doing today? Welcome to the Madhouse late stream for me. Anyway, so that's my opinion. I mean, and you can either agree or disagree. That's okay. It doesn't bother me, but I don't want to be locked into a scenario. So Run8 is by far the best because it's not a game. There's no money aspect to it. You're just moving cars, so you can learn about the logistics of railroading. And so great. I'm picking up a road train in Sparks, taking it to Davis Yard in Roseville. Any other train simulator, okay, your scenario's done. You scored this many points because you did this right or you did this wrong. Trust me, in Run8, if your train stays on the track and you don't derail, what's the fun in that? I mean, yeah, the more sandbox, the better. You're absolutely right, Rusty. So, I mean, I like it when you go over it. You go over a defect detector. There's that little bit of pucker factor. Um, are you going to get stopped? You're going to hear that stop your train, stop your train. Or you're backing up and going over a switch, and all of a sudden you got a notification that you're on the ground because the car picked some car somewhere in your consist that picked a switch. And you can set that as well too. I mean, that's not going to happen or it's going to happen a lot. I have it set to happen a lot. And on the SoCal server, I'm going to tell you, lately I've been playing the SoCal server. I have never had so many locomotives run out of water. So you got to shut the train down and you hand a bucket to your conductor and tell him go fill the engine. All right, what's next? Auburn Resorts, and then we're going to go to Blackwood. So let me go grab that and a little recap. So if anybody's watching, I'm just going to go Let's see if I can get this up here where you can see everything. So Auburn, Blackwood, that's my configuration. And then I'm just going to come over here and Control V it, and there it is. So you notice that the only place I have spaces are between the tags for the cars, no spaces between the commas. So West Colton, Hinkle, Oregon, Ogden, Utah, and then this is going to be Roseville. So this will be a Roseville car, or if the car gets tagged, it's going to go to Roseville. It's going to be part of the RR60. I believe is what it is, RR60. I think the whole tag is LRR60 or LRV60 local, and it's going to be going. So we talked about that before. I just wish industry config was a little more involved, like being able to have loaded and empties of the same car type. I get what you're saying. There's a way to do it though, Rusty. That's a great point. So we'll pretend that okay, Blackwood Furniture is coming in, and I mean, they make furniture, so they're getting, for some reason, they're getting their wood coming in boxcars, and they're sending out their furniture in boxcars. So, and you see this kind of in large industry switching. You can set up one track as one industry and set your tracks, say instead of BWF, you could do BWFL. So that car tag is BWF loaded, and then you set up a second industry with BWFE for empty. I do that at Mosel as well. When I get an exchange train in that comes in from Hank's server, he will send me cars, and that's how they're tagged. They're tagged with the train number, and then I use the industry, so it's either L for loaded or E for empty, and then the industry sets up to actually pick a industry that needs an empty car, and then it gets retagged. So you can do it. It just required that you can't have, and you can actually have it on the same track. Now I think about it, you can really put both industries on the same track. You just have to tag BWFE, BWFL as an example. Use your imagination how you want to tag it, but it has to be some kind of separate designation, and then you can put in two different industries all on one track. And I'm trying to think, where was it? There was I'm thinking here. I thought there was an industry on SoCal that's like that. And I know that. Well, we see it in Railroader. I don't want to reference Railroader, which I just did. But no, it's there's an industry that you push back, and as an example, you might have an industry right back in here, and then you might have one up here, and this is all one spur track. And you can so you can set it up and maybe even have at a warehouse door, this is your loaded boxcars there, this is your empty boxcars here, and that would cause you to have to like pull these out of the way. So, let's see, I have done it this way on a couple like Nebo, but they have to be big enough or they would change the size of the orange dots for lack of better term. I agree with that. I mean, you can change the size of the lettering, but I'd like to see, hey, I need bigger dots so I can see them. But what I do when you get the orange dots is if you just go F6 and find out where the end of the orange dots are. I mean, just for argument's sake, you can drop an MOW marker. There it is right there. So you want to stop your cars here. Well, using that industry, same thing. If I'm doing two different industries, I can do, just for argument, use your imagination. First industry goes right here. You have to stop by here. Some of them, yeah, as in the size of the dot. No, I get it. I mean, if you're talking about the size of the dot, some industries, if you click on the way they do the tracks, it might do the whole track. So, okay, fine. Well, if it does the whole track, but I get what you're saying. But anyway, but you can set up the whole track, but then you create when your work orders or something like that, you can use different signs. So, I mean, it's, yeah, it's whatever you want to do. Once again, it's all about what you want to do. It is completely open world. Have fun. But let's see if I do. I want to see what happens right here. I'm off track. Did I save that? Let's save that. Okay. I'm gonna come over here, go new industry, and let's see. I don't know why I did that, but the Lazy Farmer Toilet and Beer Company. So the track, let's see, the industry track would be, we could do, let's just do all caps TLFT, and let's tie it into the, oh, I'm just going to make up a local here. So we're just making stuff up. I'm going to delete it anyway. So now we can add this industry. What's up, Bob? And I'm going to do CWZ right there. What am I missing? I'm missing something here. So, but these are the dots. You can see the blue dots. And you watch, look what I do. See how this is happening? Oh, okay. Now the blue dots turn to yellow. But as I move these around and I go click on save, if you see the other dots over there to the right hand side, you're going to end up with those as a track as well too. Sometimes it's better just to escape out than left control I to come back up again. There we go. Track's been picked. Going to West Colton. Now we've got it and it's saved. And if we look, you can see the yellow dots. So, but these little dots or these circles here will turn to dots, and those can be a little hard to see. And that's why I was saying that it's sometimes better to drop a sign at the end so you know when to stop a car. And especially if you're going to run a server for your friends, family, complete strangers, whatever. If you drop the sign, then then they know, hey, you can set up in your work order however you want, whatever work order. And that's my next thing is like, okay, you can use work orders in Discord, like what I do for the SoCal server. But to be honest with you, if I could set up something like the OC, I got a chance to see that. That's yeah. I'm gonna join the Depot Plus server, if anything, to play with the OC. That's amazing. So, I didn't say anybody who wants to play on the SoCal server. I did on this particular stream, and is a link to the Discord channel. Go ahead and you can click on that. You can join the channel. The Discord server right now, Discord server, sorry, the SoCal server is up on the weekends right now. Right, like I said, June 9th is when your computer gets here. So shortly after I get that, I will have SoCal up. I will have MoCell up. And hopefully by the same time, we'll have our configurations done and NorCal will be up. It is online right now, but it's still under configuration or we're not ready to release it, but it is coming. So, yeah, so we'll have 3 different servers up and running. So that means you can come play with us, Bob. All right. Anyway, I'm going to delete that industry. I just don't want it. So that was how That's basically how you make an industry. You can put it. You can put an industry anywhere you want. Something that I did. I'll use this as an example. This is something that bothers. This is why we chose NorCal too. There's another reason is that it came out, and I don't know why wasn't very well received, and I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that there's only, I'll say one. There's two, one for Burlington Northern, the other one for Union Pacific, but there's only one subdivision that is separating the SoCal map from the NorCal map. And that goes when you come up in the SoCal map and you come up to the Cowley Yard, which is for BNSF. There's their subdivision is the Stockton subdivision, which goes from the Cowboy Yard in Fresno up to Stockton, California. And then if they want to continue on east, then they have track rights on the Union Pacific. That's BNSF has track rights on the Union Pacific rails going to Roseville and over the mountain. Union Pacific, it comes to Fresno, and they do have a yard in Fresno, which on the SoCal map, if you go look at it, the roadbed work has been put in place by Run8 Studios. There's no tracks there yet, but the roadbeds are there, and there's different assets that we're starting to notice are starting to drop in. So there's a lot of hope right now that they are going to connect. And there was a conversation that I had a few months ago. Like, I was chatting with one of their developers, and I was like, hey, is there any chance that SoCal is going to get connected to NorCal? And his answer was, there's always a chance, wait and see. And I'm like, my feeling on that was, and the way it was worded, which I couldn't tell you exactly how it was worded, but the way it was worded was like, it's coming. Now, it may take a few years because they have a habit with that, but it's coming. But if they do, for Fresno to Stockton, that's the Fresno sub, and actually the Fresno sub for Union Pacific continues on past Stockton, California, up to Roseville, and so there's that potential. And then when they get to Stockton, there's a lot of switching that can be done. And then there's Central California Traction Company that basically that's what they do. They switch in and around the Stockton area. So that could actually be represented in the maps by San Joaquin Valley Railroad, which they do have a small presence there, or did at one time. So, I mean, would it happen? I'd love to see it happen. So I think when they dropped it, I think that when they dropped NorCal, a lot of people were disappointed that it wasn't connected to SoCal, and they walked away from it. Um, and then Depot Plus, they put up a server, but nobody was on it, so they walked away from it. I think that's a huge mistake. I think that if we're going to, and that's my ultimate goal with my channel, is to build the Run8 community. I like to see people get out there and, you know what? Hey, I see you out here rail fanning. Do you ever play train simulators? Here, you got to check out Run8. You know, and you can point to my YouTube channel. You can point to old YouTube channels like NS Horsehead. Go watch these YouTube channels. Okay, this is one of the, if you want your railroad fix, play Run8. So let's see. I'll have to get North County. My far-fetched theory is they did Roseville. Gotta get this up here. Roseville first to have the main yard in place before connecting. Oh, Quincy has shown up again. If that was the case, they would have sat on RV long as they did. Roseville was completed. Yeah, see, and that's what I'm saying. That's why. Um, that's my point, is that they have things completed and then they sit on them for whatever reason. I don't know why they sit on them, but they do. In fact, I think the most recent content that they sat on for so long was the new cars for Amtrak. So why did they sit on those for so long? I don't know. There's a reason. There's some reason somewhere. I don't know. I mean, who knows? And I'm way off topic with what I wanted to do on this stream today, but that's really what my thought is, that they need a community, and I'm not bucking for it, because it would make it a job, and I don't want this to become a job. But they need a community liaison like other games simulators have, and Roseville just crashed again. Oh my goodness. Wow. What is that? There we go. Let me get rid of that. That's been my morning. That has been my absolute morning. And I haven't done anything, and it stayed up. That's the longest, though. I mean, it stayed up for a little over an hour. And that started happening. Well, there's a couple of things I did. Let's see, new mouse, new keyboard. So that's nice. I don't think that would do it. They're both Corsair. I was using Corsair before. There was what else? I did some stuff with Python. So I installed Python. I need to go back and look and make sure that's not loading up. But basically, that was, if you've ever been on the Mateo server, how every time you connect, you have to get kind of a new password. I'm going to put that in place because, unfortunately, I mean, you look at the Depot Plus, they change their password, I think, almost every week. Mateo does every time. There's a reason behind that. So, yeah, thanks, Quincy. Yeah, you're right. So it's like those cars for Amtrak was announced 7 years ago. See, so they were announced, they just got released 7 years later. So here's my point. And this is the thing. I mean, am I going to hate on Run8 for that? No. If anybody hates on Run8 for that, you know what? There are bigger fish to fry other than that. Okay. Um, my understanding is that these guys, this is not, I mean, developing this simulator is not um, their first thing that they do. This is, it's not their primary source of income, although it is a good source of income, and I think that they need to do better at communication, but that's on my own opinion. But it would be nice. I mean, if you think about it, community liaison, having a YouTube channel, and they have a YouTube channel. They haven't been, I looked at it, it's been 6 years since they posted their last YouTube video. All right. They should have one at least once a month. They have their liaison who pops in, whether it's in Discord or in TeamSpeak. It pops in, hey, this is what they're doing, this is what they're planning, and they have once a month. There's an update. Here's the update on Run8. They're working on this area. Okay, or if you don't want to be that specific, there is an area that they're working on. Trust me, if you pay attention to your maps, you will notice it. And then once a month, have an update, even if it's a minor little tiny update to drop new assets in. Okay, have an update. Something that shows us you guys are still active. Because I go back to, and I'm way off topic with what I wanted to do, but that was my source of displeasure, that between just early December, the 3 months afterwards, March, we didn't see an update, and all of a sudden we get a whole bunch of updates. We got new cars, got new locomotives. new assets being dropped in. Even Quincy was running around going, "Hey, you need to come over here. Look at this. There's something new over here," and I'm noticing new stuff. So it's exciting. It's just, I mean, you gotta be patient. Derailed. Yeah, no, yeah. So I don't know what's going on. So why all of a sudden? But you know, the whole thing about NorCal crashing. Now the server's still up. That's not crashing. And the only difference between the server running and the client running is that on the client side, I have Selkirk or Mohawk installed now, and I think that might be part of the issue. We'll see. No, right, and that is a question. I mean, my biggest one is if you look at the SoCal map and you go down to, was it Morse Road? Um, Even Brad, who had the very populated SoCal, put in spawn points for Union Pacific trains, but they can only go as far as Global. They only go as far as Global, and then they go off the map because there's no connection between Global and Seiko. You know, and that's been like that forever. Well, they're doing these updates. How hard is it? I mean, I'm not a programmer. Maybe it is hard, but how hard is it? You got these two maps, and why were they not connected when the San Bernardino map or Bakersfield? I'm sorry, the Bakersfield map. Why wasn't it completed when that Bakersfield map dropped? So why would you leave a gap like that? Other than the fact that obviously their focus is on BNSF and everything I've read, it's kind of like Union Pacific was kind of an afterthought, you know, and we have to do it because they've got a presence in the area, and it wouldn't be right to have one and not the other. So I don't know. If they make a promise, Quincy, you're right. If they make a promise, they need to deliver and fulfill that promise. Camblin Steel Services. That's what I'm working on right now. All right, and we're going to go ahead and highlight this one. And we'll save. Let's go back and make sure I finished this one. I did. Okay. Cantex. Yes, UP Island in Fresno. I used San Joaquin to service it for now. Yeah, you can do that. In fact, it's actually on BNSF's side. Not BNSF side, what am I saying? Union Pacific side, because I live in the area. And San Joaquin Valley Railroad actually comes down through, well, it used to, would come down through the town of Los Banos and then go down, I forgot what little highway it is right there, but they come in just north of Fresno, and then they used UP. They had track rights on the Union Pacific line right there, and then they would come down into the Union Pacific yard, pick up their cars, and then go back up, you know, up through Los Banos, and then they worked their all the way back up to not Martinez, through Tracy, California. So it was kind of like a little cut off short line, um, working their way and eventually working their way toward Martinez, and then they actually, I don't know, I couldn't tell in my research if they actually continued up the Union Pacific, but then they would come up just short of the Davis Yard here in Roseville and cut up through the town of like Woodland, and the tracks are still there. They use that for like a little excursion railroad, comes out of Sacramento, But basically would go up through the town of Woodland. I used to live there too. Go up through the town of Woodland and then work their way up along like Highway 5, all the way up into just doing a lot of the rice, because a lot of rice being grown up in that area, tomatoes, rice, corn. So they would work all the farms and stuff up there, and then they would pick up Union Pacific again up north around, I want to say around Red Bluff, Redding, somewhere up in that area. Considering the fact that Union Pacific was like, well, Union Pacific and well, actually originally was Southern Pacific and Santa Fe. So, but Union Pacific is coast to coast. I mean, why not? I mean, it's just, I get it. Some people have their preferences. Um, but if you're going to put out something like this, and if you got two big name railroads out in the area, you got to have their representation, and they do all right. I mean, it's okay. So, because of the way the Fresno part of, I don't like this thing sitting here. I can't see this. Yeah, because of the way Fresno part of the Bakersfield sub was created, we got janked. Yeah, we did. Makes me think one of them just works for BNSF, and so he was loyal to his company, and that's okay. But you still gotta, if you're gonna do it, be accurate about it. Whoops, what am I doing? What just happened? Oh, there we go. Woo. But I mean, you even pointed out that you can start seeing the roadbed being dropped in place. Just no tracks. Colfax Food Growers Association. I will be taking the train trip here soon, because on the 9th, well, my daughter's bringing me her old computer, and that's the one that's going to be used for the uh, Mosel server, and then I'm going to ride back with her, hang out in the Reno area for a couple of days, and then I'm actually taking the long trip. I'm going to take the California Zephyr as she passes and stops in Reno. I'll pick her up and take her all the way into Martinez, and then I'll get off at Martinez, and then I will pick up the train coming back down to San Joaquin, coming back down to this area. I think it's honestly, you know what, Quincy? I don't want to say it's never going to happen. Um, because one of the things that took so long, which they just started doing, and the very basic, is redoing all the user guides. And that's one in which I kind of feel like, okay, maybe I had my hand in that because I kind of railed on that in one of my streams so long ago, and now it's being done. Okay, that was Colfax. Gotta mark these so I know where I left off. Colonial Van and Storage. They're using oh no, they're not. They're using boxcars. Where's boxcars? There we go. Copy, paste, save. Listen, if this was their main and only focus in life, they have no excuse. But I don't think that this is their main and only focus in life. I think that they have other things to consider, their regular jobs, all that kind of stuff. Now, if they weren't so overprotective about it and kind of would do what we see other games do and put out well, Farming Simulator is my perfect example. Here's what we use: make maps. If they want to keep it close to their heart, they can still let the fan base make maps, but you have to turn your map into us. We're going to test it and approve it, and if it's approved, then it shows up on as a free map that user base can download. I'd like to see something with Kansas City Southern pre-merger. Let's get the other Class 1 railroad that's in the air, that's in this country. Run8 Plastics. Plastic pellet hoppers. But anyway, we can sit here and spend all our time bitching and moaning and griping and and you know what? I refuse to. I'm gonna. Oh, no, 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 no. I want this one. And then I want to come back over here. I think in a lot of ways, Run8 already is a game changer. Because, I'm looking at, okay, just notifications going out. Gee, huge update for Train Sim. Okay, what is it going to do? Well, they added more content that you have to pay for, and it's still scenario based. And I had somebody actually message me and just say, yeah, but you know what? I like Run8, but it's no Train Sim because there's too many commands. Really? Honestly, on the keyboard, there's maybe 5 or 6 commands you're going to use all the time. Everything else is like, oh, I know they can do that. What's the command? And that's it. So, all right, let's get rid of this one. These next few industries are all going to be the same. Let's do that. Save. Energy absorption. Yeah. Save. Fernco. Well, we produce ferns. So you can see these sums, the one I'm putting here, once again, West Colton, Hinkle, Ogden, Utah. There's still going to be a lot of cars that'll be leaving the map. So there'll be, that's the whole idea with how we're setting this up, is that it's going to be very much still a need to call for supply trains. New to the game. I like SoCal the most. I have listened to this conversation at a time in your videos. It's depressing. Yuma never came out. It's all I really want at this point. Yeah, we all did, Rusty. I'm gonna echo Quincy on that one. And apparently that's another sub that's sitting in the background waiting. So, but you can hear like what I was saying is you can hear whine and kind of whine and cry and be depressed that this stuff hasn't come out, or enjoy the fact that this is the most open world train simulator out there, and it's not going anywhere. Too many people sit there and say, "Oh, it's going to die. It's going to die." It's not going to die. Every simulator, every game has their dedicated hardcore fan base that just isn't going to go away. So it's not going to die. You look at, okay, like I took a look at, I bought it because it was cheap. It was on sale during the holidays, but I went and picked up Trains 2022 to give that a try. Okay, I did. wasn't what I expected. I'm going to take it off my system and delete the videos from my channel. I have no interest in it. Age has nothing to do with it, Quincy. Oh, I know, Russ. You've been putting out a lot of videos lately. Took you long enough to get to Penny Newman. By the way, that's another reason. Okay, you did your video, that road train to Penny Newman, and you worked Penny Newman in Stockton, California. If they would give us that map, that in Stockton there is a Penny Newman grain that sits on the banks of a man-made canal, and that ships come in and get loaded with grain and go out, or they're bringing grain in because it's actually out here because for feed and everything. The Central Valley of California is one of the largest consumers of grain, and it's all going for feed. So temporary. All right, Frank's fitted pipes done. All right, now we're off to Frito-Lay. All right, Frito-Lay is done. Save. Yeah, I bought. You know what? I'll tell you, it's like I bought Railroader. I haven't been back. Played it for a while, loved it. Played with some of the mods for it. They were good. Then I came back to, just came back and started playing around because a friend of mine, I bought him Railroader. He liked it, and I kept telling him. He said, "Yeah, if you like this, you really should check out Run8 because it's very, it plays pretty much the same, little different commands and stuff. But it plays the same, and so he went out, bought Run8, and then like me, jumped in with both feet, bought every DLC, every car pack. He hasn't been back to Railroader, and since I've been back over here, he hasn't been back over to Railroader. We got another streamer, of uh, Run8, Kung Fu Beer. I mean, he bought it, played it, went right back to Run8. So I mean, I think, and that's, you see this in gamers, for the most part, are very fickle. They play something until something new comes out and then they bail. Small minority of players, they find a game, and I'm in that small minority. They find a game or a simulator, and they stay with it. Um, I need to do a video on Lord of the Rings Online because I think that's a fantastic game. It's been around for 17 years. I've played it for 13 of those 17 years, and I still play it. My daughter plays it. I've got buddies that play it, and the content they keep putting out is absolutely amazing. And I just watched another YouTube video that just came out about a month ago that, I think it's Gamer Dad or whatever. He came out and he even said, he goes, "I haven't been on this game in so long. I decided to come back and review it." And he goes, "I'm back playing it hardcore again." So you could be a fickle gamer and decide to go play something else, or decide, okay, you know what? I'm going to join in on the forums for a certain game. I'm going to put my opinions out there. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to, post things, in hopes to make what I play better. But I'm not going to leave Run8. I mean, it is exactly what I was looking for, and that's why, I do the air quotes, my virtual model railroad. Okay, it was exactly what I was looking for. Trains 2022, or that whole Trains catalog, is about model railroading. But and it looks great and everything, but it doesn't scratch the itch for having an actual model railroad in my house the way Run8 does. So, I go back and I look at the forums for Run8, and they're very active. I visit the Mateo server. There's a lot of people on there. I got people showing up on my SoCal server. I'd have a lot more if I had it up more longer than just, than just 2 days a week. There's a lot of people out there playing. So, seeing Railroader got me to discover. That's good. I'm glad to see. So Railroader got you. You started Railroader is what I'm seeing in that sentence, and then you came over to Run8, and then you've been streaming. You have been streaming content on Run8. Gale Building. Did I save this? I'll save it anyway. All right, Gale Building Supplies. Gale Building Supplies is done. All right, let's see. All right, that's fine. I mean, if you want to go back and say, okay, gee, you didn't play version 1, and, you're right, I didn't. I didn't even know. This is my biggest gripe about Run8. Where's the advertisement? In my search, and I've talked about this in the past, that in my search for something that was going to scratch that model railroad edge, I'd searched on Twitch, I searched on YouTube, I searched over the internet, and all I kept seeing was either Microsoft Train Simulator, which was a dead issue, or Train Simulator, and even like things like SimRail and like that, those didn't come up. And kind of like what Rusty was saying here, that and seeing Railroader, he discovered Run8. It was the same thing for me. I'm looking at all his content, and I'm like, man, it looks good, but it's just not what I'm looking for. And all it took was one person to say, hey, you know what? Train Sim is good, but it's no Run8. What's Run8? Never heard of it. What are you talking about? What's Run8? And I start searching for Run8, and I've talked about this. I found NS Horsehead SD70's video, watched it. I don't know how long. It wasn't long before I went and dropped the money and bought the base game, and then I jumped in with both feet. So just because I haven't played version 1 or haven't played version 2, you know what? That's fine. But I'm going to defend version 3. Case in point. And yeah, do they have some things that they need to work on? Yeah, they do. Do they need to be more communicative? Yes, they do. But I'm not going to leave Run8. Yeah, and so they got some things to work on. I agree. And you know what? My channel. That's what it's about, Rusty. My channel, Quincy, is what it's about. And everybody else that's watching, that's what this channel is about. I want to grow the Run8 community. Whether my community in Discord and on YouTube come along, great. Okay? But my focus is building the Run8 community, getting the word out. Because I yesterday, and I didn't stop, but yesterday I was going along, and I'm like, wow, what are all these cars hanging out underneath the overpass for? Well, I knew exactly why they were underneath the overpass, because I saw the cameras. They were set up along a BNSF track. They were rail fanning, and they were underneath the overpass because it was freaking hot. We're just here at the beginning of June, and we're pushing 100 degrees on a consistent basis now. So yeah, they were hanging out in the shade, but they were filming Amtrak and BNSF going by. that was a perfect time for me to pull up and start talking, get a conversation, and go, hey, by the way, do you ever play a train simulators? No, never thought about it. Well, here, check this out, Run8. Go watch my videos. Tell me what you think. Gale Building Supplies. I think I finished that one. Let's save it anyway. All right, Gale Building Supplies, Geodes. Geodes done. Greenstones Grocery. Okay, Greenstones Grocery Distribution Center. Oh, I did. Okay. HB Fuller Adhesives next. So, what I'm doing, just a little recap. Anybody who's just jumping in here, watching, this is my sheet. I'm putting little X's in all the industries that I've changed inside the game, but I'm changing it because as I change it in here, it changes it in the config.ind file. And that ultimately will be the file that will be handed out to everybody. So if they want to play solo on their own systems, they'll be able to get the file from me on the um, off my Discord channel. So, all right. Anyway, back to what I'm doing here. HB Fuller, HC companies. All right, plastic. No more plastic pellet hoppers. That's another thing on my wish list. Having some way to do an automated way, not the way Hank and I are doing it, but an automated way for me to send a train and maybe put it on some kind of a database somewhere. And so, like, hey, I'm sending a train from Roseville towards Southern California, and then someone like Rusty can go, oh, I want that train, so I can work industries with it and grab that train, and it automatically puts it onto his maps and brings it in. Just so I mean, because that's kind of what we're doing. It's a manual process. I save the train, then I send the file to Hank, or he saves the train and sends the file to me, and then we process it accordingly. But I don't know. There's got to be a better way, and we found the manual way of doing it. Now there's maybe through the magical art of programming. Oops. There we go. Almost screwed up over there. Heritage Propane. Another one. That's another industry that will have to get its cars from off map. And actually, I was talking about this earlier. All right, he did already. So the white cars. Perfect. Okay. I say he, developer, he. Next is Geldwin. That's a big company. I know somebody who drives truck for them. And all he does, drive truck and deliver brand new windows at the construction sites, and he makes a couple $100,000 a year just doing that for Geldwin. I tried learning how to drive truck once. Yeah, it was not good. It was, they gave me a 12-foot by 60-foot trailer to haul through the San Francisco Bay Area. Yeah, that killed me right then and there. I think that was their idea. Hernios. See all these right now. It's like all those are off map. Here we have 3 off map and then 2 that are going to be going to the shop. So we have an opportunity for cars going to the shop. Maybe a lot of that too. A lot of repair work being done by the time we're done setting this up. Ladon. Done. And then, yeah, we'll send those over there. I'm going to make a note of this industry because I just realized this Lossman Lumber and Molding Company. They're getting loaded box cars and they're producing empties, but I get my book out. Actually, where's my other one? I have a bigger one that I use now. I've got these little tiny ones for doing notes. I get those from work and that's all I use them for. Where's my, here it is. I want to look at this company here because Lossman Lumber and Molding, and one thing I noticed that there's a, we have Tahoe Truckee Lumber that produces loaded center lines. Or center beams, sorry, not center lines. Let's see, LLM. Industry review. Roseville. LLM. Alright, I want to look at these. So right now, okay, so you guys already see what I'm thinking about right here. I'm looking at this. So I have a box cars that go here. They do have a truck here, so maybe the truck's bringing something else in. But I would rather, I mean, I wonder, what is it? If I come in here and go to edit tracks, what are we looking at? So, as it stands right now, I could fill loaded boxcars all the way up. But what if maybe 2 boxcars here and then create another industry up in here for 2 center beams, loaded center beams? It would we would have to set the entire track up because I don't think we can divide it, but set the entire track up. So we have, yeah, we can do 2 box cars. We got a door here, a door there. 2 center beams. They're getting lumber in this building here. They're taking that lumber and turning it into moldings or whatever they need. Maybe just molding because it's lumber and molding. So yeah, so they're getting lumber. They'll produce empty cars, turning that into moldings, and the moldings will get loaded onto trucks here in the warehouse or onto box cars to be shipped out. Okay, I'm gonna configure this one. We're gonna change this one. So what do I want to change it to? This case would be LLMB for boxcar. Oops. Okay. Want to look at. Yeah, give me a minute here. I'm writing things down here. LAUS N Ing LL M LLMC or center beam on one track. Okay, so we're going to do. Let's save that. Here. C L R 62 and center beam. Along with for the company. There we go. All right, this will be coming out of Sparks. Sparks 3EL or RV Shop SP Shop. All right, always add those. Okay, now we're going to go edit a track. Okay. And up. Add that industry. What am I missing? Thought I added it. No, I guess I didn't. There we go. Oh, I thought I did. Yeah. Port now, SoCal server, the port number is the default number. So if I don't have that on that page, let me add that, but it's the default one. Let me take a look at that real quick. Oh, I did not add that. I don't like that. I'll do it this way. Oh. Okay, yep, I got it right. I had to double check it just to make sure I had it right for you. There it is. Okay, but yeah, it's the default 15197. All right, back to what I was doing over here. Don't want you there either. What am I missing? Fighting with it right now. That tracks. Ah, you're welcome, John. That's right. That. This doesn't matter, but I'll play with it anyway. Oh no, create empties. There we go. Because I want loaded cars. But it's not letting me add. Why? This. Right? Well, I don't have to be on the ground. I'm not on a server, number one, and it's better to be up in the air. But it's giving me fits and won't let me do it. I know you can. Alright. That's fine. You know what? I'm going to let that go. I'll come back to that a little bit later. Because I know you can do it. Continue on. I'm actually going to take this off. So I can get that one set. There we go. We're not going to change that. Alright. But we are going to add that one. Okay. Name doesn't matter. I've done it before. In fact, I did that. Like I said, going back to the Mosel server, Finger Lakes yard I used as an interchange yard, and I had labeled as NS interchange. And I ran basically two different industries. One was for empty cars, one was for loaded cars. And so I had it specifically looking for, if it was a loaded car, they were looking for loaded cars and just retagging from M05 to L to whichever industries needed loaded cars of that type. And it works. So it was a very successful test, but for some reason, yeah, it's giving me fits here today. So I will figure it out because I want it to be on the same industry. I mean, it just makes sense with lumber coming in here and then boxcars going out, and it'll be create kind of an interesting little switching conundrum right here. So yeah, I'll get it figured out. So, and so far so good. It's not. I've only crashed once, so I don't know what's. I really don't know what's causing it to crash as much as it is. Oops, I don't want that. I want this. Well, let's take it down to there. That's same. Okay. Oh, and then we're not CSX. There we go. That'll work. Max that out. I'm officially squirreling. All right, back to what I was doing. I was officially squirreling right there. So for right now, I'm going to say this one is done. See, there's LB. Now here's an example, because I'll say why you can do it. Here's the example: LB construction and lumber, LB construction and lumber. One is boxcar, one is center beam. So they're doing the same thing. I want to do the same thing on this one here. So, but I think actually now I think about it, I think this is two different tracks. Let's go take a look. I'm pretty sure it is. Where'd my sounds go? Oh no, it's one track. Yeah, box cars and center beams. Unless, let's see. We're looking at LBC. That's SMD. That would be SMD is Save Mart Distribution Center. LBC. Yeah, 3 box cars and 4 center beams is what that industry takes. So it would be 4 center beams, 4 center beams and 3 box cars all on this track, which they've got right up here. You guys may not be able to see that, but there's an orange dot like right there. So it can be done. Am I going about the wrong? You know what? I'm an idiot. No, they did 2 separate companies though. So maybe I'm not an idiot. I was thinking I was maybe. Oh, you know what? I am an idiot. I was going about it the hard way. Let's go back. Here we go. I just got to add it here. So boxcar capacity, we'll change that to 2. Center beam capacity, change it to 2. Producing empties, producing loads, and you just type it in here. WC-HK-OG. There. So, and it just has to, then that's where we would go back to this place here and drop in those MOW signs. And we can, in the work order in Discord for that particular industry, boxcars, by the red MOW sign and center beams by the yellow MOW sign. I mean, yeah, I know that's not what the MOW signs mean for those people that are hardcore prototypical, which is fine. Play as prototypical as possible. So, but yeah, we'll just keep it the same tag and it just know that's how it's dropped. We can put some cars there, take a picture of it, put it up on the work order. This is what it looks like. So that's how we'll do it. We'll save that. And I need to go back and give that to Mr. Beer because he's helping me with this. All right, so we're going to go back to these guys. First one is for the boxcar. Boxcar, we'll get rid of all these. Because every single one of those tags that you see right there, those are all off-map tags. So now I only have 3 off-map tags. Everything else is going to stay on-map. Yeah, basically it's a lumber supply center. This is, yeah. So they get lumber from Tahoe Truckee Lumber, and then there was another spot, a second one, that actually produced. I have 2 locations that produce lumber. Okay. Next one. Leach Logistics. Okay, those 2 are done. This one takes 3 cars. Some of these that don't have other on-map destinations is because they have no place to go. In this case, they're producing empties, and based upon what they're doing, they don't have. I probably could figure something else out, but this is just preliminary. We will adjust, and that's the thing is we're going to adjust as we go along. Right, Leach Logistics is done. Logan Lumber Company. Now, Loomis Fruit Growers. Now, Loomis Fruit Growers is the only location on this map that actually produces loaded refrigerator cars. And if I remember, that's part of the rock. Oh, I don't want to do that. Back up. There we go. Part of the Rockland Rocket, if I remember correctly. There we go. It's either the Rockland, or the, I think, actually, now I think it's the Colfax turn. So, let's see. All right, we can do a few more of these. Wow, this was like 2 hours, went by pretty good. Martin Iron Works. You working there? Let me. Oh, you're. The only other thing I forgot too is I had a update last night because I was going to play last night when I got home from work, and of course I did was it? Or no, it was Thursday night. I had a microshaft update that took almost all night. That's irritating. Don't you even tell me I have another update. Ah, 11 o'clock. Okay, here we go. Now we're starting to open up. Martin Ironworks. Well, okie dokie. Anyway, I think we're at a point here. Good time to stop. Back over. So right now, well, this is just the client, my client. And so I'm working on, and all this what I'm doing is, once again, to work on the configuration file. So I can send that over to the server. And then the next thing I work on is the train. So basically I want to set up several, 3 spawn points to get 3 different supply trains to come in. And we'll do those as manual calls, and you'll have yard masters. We'll have a yard master for Roseville, yard master for Sparks. They'll be the ones that'll be responsible for calling the supply trains. So if somebody wants to work in industry and they notice an industry doesn't have any cars in it, maybe there's cars somewhere in one of the yards that needs to get there, or it maybe if we're starting to get low on cars, we'll call some some supply trains in, and maybe have to store some somewhere, that kind of thing. So anyway, with all that being said, this has been fun. I appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out. Rusty, man, I like your videos. Keep doing it, man. It's good to have you out there. Letting people know that Run8 does exist. So, and then of course, Quincy, you're always welcome, man. Don't, hey, I mean, I like the debates with you. They're all good. It's informative. So, but yeah, keep coming on in. And of course, Captain Ron, good to see you. SP Bob, good to see you there as well too. Always well, Mike. If you're not on the Discord server, I'll catch you there later on. But of course, if you check out the description to this video, the link to my Discord server is there, so you can get in and actually start playing Run8. Come join us in SoCal when MoCel comes up, and and when we launch NorCal, NorCal will be there as well too. So we'll have 3 different servers going. Other than that, as usual, if you like the content that I have, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, hit the notification bell as well too. That way you know when I go to stream or when I start to post. I'm actually going to start uploading a lot of videos for posting throughout the week. Of course, I've got 1 more week of work left. I will then be on a 2-month paid vacation. Trust me, I didn't think I was going to be that guy. But yeah, I am that guy. Yeah, jump in, Rusty, man. Come on in. Mike, see you in there, man. And everybody else, John, see you in there. The more the merrier. Let's get some work done. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun having a lot of people there. Anyway, and then of course, if you are a rail fanner, if you are looking for the ultimate in train simulator, that's Run8. Come out, hang out with us. It's a good little community. We're trying to build it up. So it'll be fun. Anyway, catch you guys later. Have a good afternoon. Have a great weekend.